Talk for 8 hours. I don't know if I could talk for 8 hours. This is, about dinner time now. I got a long day, but I'm in my upstairs office. It's the guest bedroom. It's really the best place to film because the lighting is good. There's a window right behind me, and there's a window over here, and during the day, and then at night, I can just put some lights on and take off the shades. So, I've got a film studio, and now the world gets to know who I am in a personal sense. My name is Alan Diamond, um, 61 years old, born in Columbus, Ohio. I only lived there a year. My parents, my father worked at an aircraft factory, North American, after the war for about a year, and then he came back to Utica, New York to work with his father. So, I lived in a suburb of Utica, New Hartford, New York, pretty much all my life up until the end of high school. I started moving out, and then I traveled a lot. But really, the Utica area has been my main stomping grounds most of my life. Although I've had a travel bone in my body, and I've seen a lot of places. I've been all over the U.S. many times, in car and other ways. But I'm a suppressed alternative medical discoverer. I'm just somebody that found a cure for bipolar, a cure for ADHD, and had a worldly knowledge of how to treat depression naturally by April 2000, and I knew it. And, you could feel this stuff. Taking supplements to an extraordinary degree, and I had underlying knowledge of the gut malabsorption that the stuff would arrive. And, it only takes like 5 hours to build a whole set of neurotransmitters and clean up everything from basket case chemistry if you can get it in. It only takes at least me, 2-3 hours to purge my gut if I've got the tools to use it to get rid of the problem. And as that goes down my intestine, it's clearing the way, and whatever I put in behind it's going to get absorbed. I can change mood like nobody in the world if I've got the tools to put. And free-form amino acids, broad-based, are the heart of that, but it's vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids. It's really everything. And I knew with that knowledge that I had gained by trial and error and reading a lot of books that, April 2000 was, hey, I got a problem here. I learned too much, and if I use it with my family and friends, nobody's going to come after me. But if how could you hold something like that inside you and not share it with the human race? And of course, the internet. I had a gift with computers, understanding how to use computers in a practical sense. I'd use computers in business successfully. 84, 85, I was merging vendor names. And, if I needed a screw machine part, I'd get in the Thomas Register, sometimes 30, 40, 50 people I'd have quote. And if they knew what I quoted against 40 other people, they wouldn't have bothered to respond to me. But I saved a lot of money on parts by just making prints up and sending a lot of letters. So. And then I got into, I tried VisiCalc and the Radio Shack computer I had, and it just wasn't enough to do the accounting of the business side. But once they came out with that 286, I knew I had enough horsepower. IBM wanted $6,000 for a 286, and I got a Computer Shopper magazine, like a telephone book, and looked at cheaper vendors, and I found one $1,200, and it came with a couple of floppy disks with Chinese or Japanese writing on them, and the thing was bulletproof, $1,200. I started, reading the books, Lotus 1, 2, 3. One book, two books, three. I had a library about this big. I'm reading them all back. And I discovered the computer I had didn't have enough memory, so I had to invest another $1,000 in a 2 megabyte memory board. And then I could do what I needed to do, which is, set up a cash disbursements ledger where it would print out the ledger sheets and you could put them in the book. It was just all automatic. And they're still using that today. They just transferred it to Excel. I just had a combination of gifts and was willing to go up against the powers that be. And I knew Big Pharma was a part of it in year 2000. I knew the government was a part of it because they were mandating drugs. And later I found 2010 when the hit attempt started. The mafia was a part of it. They were backing up this whole charade. So, but you know, a person in my shoes 14 years ago, all you really wanted to do was last long enough to make a difference, hopefully be heard, plant the seeds of truth deep enough so it didn't matter if they got here or not. Yeah, and I've gone beyond that place, or I'm there now. This last hit attempt in Reno, this is early June, I think it's June 4th. I'm making this video, and they came down on me a ton of bricks in early May. And then when I told the story about my father going to Kansas City after World War II, and the mafia tried to recruit him, and he turned them down after they told him some stuff, and they wanted to kill him. He's lucky he got out of there alive. But he never told what. But my mother told enough that I figured it out. There was a conspiracy. The Germans and Nazis behind Big Farm, and the Italians, they got together, and as long as the mafia would suppress alternative medical discoverers, Big Pharma could rape the United States of God knows how many billions of dollars. But all is forgiven. These guys, if they switch sides, you got to forget about the past, and you can't cut the mafia out of the deal. I mean, they've gone too powerful, and you need their power. And it's just clear democracy doesn't work. So we need a whole new system in the United States. So I'm going to be here in Albany in June, and it doesn't look like I'm going to get any visitors. I would have loved to see some people out of California. Mark, Jake with another team member of mine in Florida come up and see me, but maybe we can do all of this in Google Hangouts, and maybe the people in San Francisco want to remain anonymous because the heat is still, pressure is not resolved yet, but fully resolved. It's getting there. I have no fear at all. I mean, look at this face. I mean, it's as tired as I am. I'm tired. I've been playing with this stuff, video, and bunking my head against the wall, pushing the wrong buttons for a few hours now. And it's frustrating sometimes. Computers, you can love them or hate them sometimes. And I have no training, and I intentionally did not upgrade my computer skills. I should know all this stuff by heart. I should be very good at it, but it was part of my rope-a-dope act to play stupid, not tag my blogs, not get out in video. I mean, I knew I was going to be a target, and I just, it was a matter of timing. You had to wait until, now we got the Patriot Revolution, and people have had enough, and they're ready to take guns and say enough is enough. Use force if necessary. Obviously, you want to avoid all that and just have a nonviolent revolution the way Mahatma Gandhi did it. A truth suppression, uncovering or unmasking internet Woodstock. If everybody woke up at the same thing, what are they going to do? The lies are over. The mainstream media, can't cap the truth off anymore once it gets out of the bag at a multi-location, well-funded. I mean, what would it take? 10, 20, $50 million? What would it take to really put on a hell of a party worldwide? And that's what Silicon Valley should do. You could take down the government. All the billions of dollars they spend on defense and all the guns and all the ammo they bought are meaningless if you win the hearts and minds of the people that got to fire these guns. So and it's you got to make up your mind. I'm an asset. Somehow you got to bring me in. It's the closer I get to success, the more my life is at risk. So it's I mean, I feel safe right now, but if I was getting on a train to go to California and go talk to Google at Mountain View, there might be action taken against them, or they can get away with it, sneaky, but anyway, I'm the happiest man alive. I shouldn't be here. How many attempts I went through? Oh my God, started the first one that I spotted, a singular event, was in January. I'll remember this day forever. January 6, 2010. They sent a couple of guys to take me out in Atlantic City. I ducked that one. I'm in one motel and I slept in another. You know, and and then I wrote a blog on Bob Beck on May 21st of 2010. I knew they were coming. They showed up, a team. Turned out it was three cars. I saw them. They spun around in the parking lot. It was a Lincoln Town car with two rentals, identical rentals behind it. They did a donut squealing when they knew they couldn't get to me. So, and each of those cars probably had two men. So you're looking at six guys. And they tried to get my apartment over like 8 days, 9 days. Knock all the time. Maintenance men I didn't call. People at 4 in the morning. I'm on the 14th floor. Nobody's knocked on my door. Next thing you know, I'm the most popular man in the building. Everybody's knocking on my door. I would have taken a dive off the balcony if I opened the door up at the wrong time. So and then they backed off for a while, and I go to Texas, and a photographer shows up there, takes pictures of the whole house, even though he had the wrong address. I knew they were going to check me out there and see if they could. So I go to Phoenix, and I set up there, and they came down and we had a ton of bricks. Like April Fools, they started gassing me from the apartment upstairs. They ripped up the floor, and you could hear them duct taping it. And my nephew had told me, they're going to gas you. Leave the window open. Just told me, you can't let it get concentrated. You'll be dead. I went through a whole night of that, more gas. You could feel it. Well, yeah, just Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday I went out and tried to cash my check. Monday night, helicopter. I mean, it was just. And then Monday night they gassed me again, and my sister bought me a plane ticket. Leslie saved my life, got me out of there. Justin helped set it up, my nephew. And then I went on again, and I had people standing up, and it was just the story is just, it's right out of Ripley's, believe it or not. But now at this point, the mafia is. They backed off. The last night in Reno, it was like. I knew, Jesus, I died here, I got to wake up Silicon Valley, and I guess that's the best I can do. So I'm tired. I knew I needed some sleep. I'd gone like 9 days, incredible hours, like 8, 9 days. I had like a 3-hour block, a 3.5-hour block, and a 3-hour block. I'm defending myself and blogging my ass off, And the last night I said, well, here they're gassing me in the room, and I'm stepping in and out, and into the front, and I know I got a little safety space right in front. I can't take a walk, or God knows what'll happen. So, and I thought about it. I thought, well, it's I guess a good day to die. Like an Indian friend taught me the saying quite a while ago. So I get out and I button up the windows and I pull down them and they watch me. They're seeing all this, right? And then I go inside the room and I move some chairs around and I lock the door in where it was. They couldn't open the door because I had the refrigerator and it was all jammed up against the desk. It would bolt into the wall. There was no way they could get in unless they broke the little back window in the back. And that's where I slept, by the bathroom. That's where I went and they're hitting me with directed energy weapons, but if I got in the bathroom, it wasn't too bad. I laid down and, nothing, but I slept like a champ. And all they had to do was flick a switch, and I would have been dead. Just turn on the cash machine. And they knew that wasn't wise. And then they sent a man to talk to me before I got on the train, and they realized I'm not working against them. You cannot cut the mob out of the deal. I mean, what I'm telling Silicon Valley is the absolute truth. We got to sit down and negotiate. You can't threaten the mob's money. You got to pay them off and get them to work for you instead of against you. Now we've got a system of governance where the mafia is making money, enforcing the will of the corporations and the corrupt people, and you'd rather have a government where the mafia is enforcing the will of Silicon Valley and the moral people and making more money, as much or more money. To switch over, you gotta pay them more. The same isn't going to make it. So, but It's all a matter of, calm and reasonable people sitting down together at a table and just hashing this out. But the key to getting the mafia to come to the negotiating table is Silicon Valley's got to have enough balls to collectively, initiate a large internet Woodstock event that's going to wake everybody up, and then that forces the mafia to come to the table because they don't want to be on the losing side where the whole world's being told what they did, and they want to be on the winning. Just fess up to what they did and say they'll work for us, and you know, I've given them a problem, the mafia, that I'm the only solution to it. So I mean, it's foolish for them. I'm going to smoke a cigarette even though I know it. So anyway, I know these videos are rough, but I'm just dying to get on camera and letting people at least see my face and hear my voice and see the lack of fear in me. I got no fear. I'm sleeping in a garage with I got a green tarp that hangs on a couple of eyelets that I found and I just put in, and there's an eyelet on the side, on the one side, the other side it's about this short, so that's my little doorway, and you can just duck in and out, and it's held down from blowing by a couple of logs. Anybody can get in and out of there. They could taser me and take me out at 3 in the morning. Nobody knows the difference, or whatever. I'm leaving myself wide open. My attitude. Yeah, anybody wants to be that foolish, the government or the mafia or the Illuminati, another power be, it's if I gotta serve God by dying, and forcing people into action, whatever. But I've got more to give the world if I live. I'm a smart guy. I'm a reasonable guy. I'm a hardworking guy. I make mistakes, but I fess up when I do. I'm just an old hippie that, just I haven't smoked any dope in a while, but I like a joint. I enjoy life and laugh a little. It's not that complicated. My knowledge of health recovery and from degenerative illness, physical, wound, like wound healing, any of that stuff, mental illness, it leads the world. Simply because I got into amino acids, started using effective dosages, but it's other things as well. I mean, I put together all the pieces. I studied every little detail. And the dietary stuff, I mean, there's people that are ahead of me, and I ran out of money. I ran out of tools to do a lot of things, but I know what juicing means, and really that's the heart of raw food and raw food ground up where you're breaking the cellulose, you're getting the nutrition inside the cell. And the teeth are only 15% efficient, but that juice is 85% efficient. That's why Gabriel Cousins goes so far with, and does so well with his green juice fast. It's got a juice if you're going to be in any serious health recovery. It's a must. And not allergic, I don't react. I react to cucumbers. You got to, peppers, the nightshade family. You got to know your food allergies. But the body of knowledge I acquired in regard to supplements, supplement use leads the world, and the body of knowledge I acquired in regard to gaining, retaining, and recovering health, it leads the world. It's of course the powers to be want to stop all of this. It threatens a lot of industries. It threatens governments. It threatens the United States government that mandates the whole supremacical medicine. So I'm the biggest threat out there as far as they're concerned. I'm the #1 domestic terrorist because I certainly want to bring the federal government down. I know too much, and I know they're corrupt, and I know they're not helping us. They're not helping the people. Things have got to change. What can I tell you? So, but the smart way to do it is collective action. They can't kill you all. I mean, that's what you got to remember. I mean, they can pick on one guy like me, but they can't pick on, 8 CEOs of Silicon Valley. You know what I'm saying? They can't go after all of you in the upper management. you know, you want to, like, if I was a CEO of Google or Yahoo, any of you guys, the Silicon Valley Nine, I would inform every one of my employees as to, what's going on, and the more that know, the safer you are. And if Silicon Valley employees as a whole are woken up, I mean, the rest of America is soon going to follow. Have everyone, how many thousands of people does Google and Microsoft and all their friends and all their friends. Silicon Valley has the power to make anything go viral overnight if it uses its power wisely. It's just, we just got to get together. And I would love to present to you guys, after, when I'm juicing, when I'm eating better, my diet's not bad now. I'm starting eating non-allergic. I haven't taken a supplement in a while, and I certainly need some stuff. I can't afford it. I'm down to $160 for this month, and I got a $60 phone bill, and I got another, so that's $100. I got like $40 in cash in my pocket. So it's rice and beans for the rest of the month. If I want to buy a little pot, and even if I don't, it's still $3-4 a day. That's what I live on. But I love this Chromebook. I wanna thank all of you. I mean, and there's so many of you. Every one of you companies, I believe, has helped me. Google's been heroic. Microsoft is now, giving me the same research results. WordPress, the heroes that stood up for me in April 2012, and the only one I know by name is Mark Jake with a cover. But I love you forever, buddy. I mean, they have a family, they have children, they have the traditional weakness where they could threaten to kill your kids and, to make you do whatever. It's stood fast with me, through thick and thin, and there's been some tough times. The summer of 2012, when I was, rode around on a bicycle, about 1,000, in Council Bluffs and Omaha and Des Moines, and they tried to kill me in all three places and got poisoned into, three places. And, it was a miracle I made it through that, And then, and then, well, anyway, it's all water under the bridge now. The mafia knows I respect them. They know that I'm doing my damnedest to get Silicon Valley to respect them and sit down at the table and wipe the slate clean as far as the past. Just forget about it. Let's where can we go from here on out to save this country from self-destruction, because that's where it's going. And I mean, we're at the precipice of a dollar collapse. And, you got Yellowstone is shaky. You got Obama trying to war in the Ukraine and all these other places. So, oh my God. And I really like the idea of the mafia. The one guy on the train says you got to deal with the Russian mafia too. They don't want to, fix this country. We screw Russia, because the Russian mafia in New York City is a force. You don't want one mafia killing another, because so it turns out, despite it seemingly more complicated, you're dealing with two countries. Can you imagine if we both got fixed in the same way and became friends, us and Russia? I mean, like tight friends. You got both mafias in charge, with the Silicon Valley of America, the Silicon Valley in Russia, jointly sharing power and straightening things out in a benevolent dictatorship kind of fashion. And you let the people have their say, but something's got to change. This You want to retain freedom. You don't want to be spying on every citizen. You want people to, have, basic human rights and basic freedoms that when I grew up, I felt I had in the '60s. Like I could do what I wanted. The government wasn't watching me and meddling in my affairs. Freedom. It's a great feeling and it's a human right. We got out of hand. So, Here I ramble on, but I just I don't know what to tell you. I feel like I belong in Silicon Valley. I belong with you guys. How much can you do? I'm living in a totally non-supportive environment here. I can find my own support. I got a bicycle, and there's some. I can go down the hood and talk to people, just get real, smoke a joint with people. And, there's a lot of people. I can be very convincing. I got two hard heads in this house, just too smart for their own good. They think they know everything. They don't have a clue. Not a clue. Oh, so anyway, yeah, and I got a bad habit. I can switch to vaporizer if I had the money, or I'm not smoking. I can switch to lozenges. And people say, "Why don't you quit smoking?" Yeah. I mean, I just went through 52. They say you can't quit when you're under stress. You try to quit when 52 months of you didn't know when the next hit attempt was going to come. Even between the big spaces between them, it's like, are they going to try again? When are they going to try again? I mean, so you don't get a break. And even though the mafia isn't actively trying to kill you, it's you got to watch your back. You got to think things out. It's, but I believe all that's over now, and I may be wrong. And again, if I die, the mafia and the feds and the Illuminati, you got to hang all three. You got to realize that. The Illuminati, the money people, the Illuminati Bilderberg people, and the mafia really have control of the government. So Obama is third on the totem pole, if not fourth. He's a puppet with many masters. But thank God for the power of the internet and the internet and computers. It coagulated the intelligence of a lot of smart people. I mean, you didn't end up if you were smart, you really had a brain. You weren't going to watch TV no more. You got on the net and participated in the American dialogue, if not the worldwide dialogue. And we learned a lot. The growth of knowledge has been exponential. And it will continue. Now the tools are getting better. I mean, WordPress is a hell of a platform for management, for education, and because you've got the words, that they handle as well or better than anybody else with the embedded videos. So you got, and pictures. So you've got a melding of pictures, videos, and written words together on a platform that can be shared in so many ways so easily. It's best choice for management, best choice for executive management, best choice as an educational software platform. You know, Turns out just a blogging program became so much. Most people don't realize it, but I certainly do because I use it all the time. It's what its potential is. And I don't mean to knock Blogger or the other ones. They all have, you know, similar capability. I assume. I've got an important blog on Blogger where I left it at the gist of nutrientscure.com. The heart of my alternative medical knowledge is I healed myself, and then my son became a co-discoverer of my son at the biggest discovery in human history with a bag. As rough as it is, it's exactly what it is. It does so much. You know, the Adele Davis wisdom of it's best when healing to take the entire nutrient range all at once, carried out with modern supplement tools, and that's what me and Willie did. Is the most important discovery. I don't mean to minimize the water-powered car, which took more brains, perhaps, or more technological knowledge, or a lot of other inventions and discoveries that Einstein. I don't mean to denigrate anybody, and I'm certainly not smarter than a lot of them. I'm just a guy who got lucky. What can I tell you? I got lucky, and I happened the right person. I had good parents. And how I feel about my mother and father. I mean, they were special. And a little bit of them rubbed off on me, and a lot of them rubbed off on me. I'm really a product of who they were with an independent streak, a stubborn streak, a stupid streak. You know, I got a lot of different sides to me. But I want to, I do it. You know, so it can be, you know, I love you guys and girls, you know, women and men. What you've done to save my life. I mean, if you didn't become aware and take the action that you did, and then the searches that I'm, you know, the results that I'm getting. I mean, it's extraordinary, you know. Yeah, I owe you people my life. You know, I, you know, I teared up a little there. But whatever happens from here on out, I'm going to do my part as best I can with the very limited means I have, and I don't understand why I haven't had some help with at least means, even if, you know, people are scared to collaborate. You know, find a way to get me some dough in an easy way. You know, eventually, you know, people. You know, I hate to deal with individual investors. You know, I've had one, and she put her life at risk, and you know, I just best money that comes is anonymous. You know, just nobody's sticking their neck out a little too soon. So I'm not going to make this any longer than it needs to be. I just, you know, I am dying to go out and take a ride on a bicycle and, you know, go out and see the folks here and try to score a dime a pot. You know, I haven't had any pot in so long. I'm smoking resin out of a pipe and it's all gone. So, you know, I want to party. You know, you have no idea. I just feel so happy that, you know, I want to be with some people. Have a good and laugh and forget about the serious stuff for a little while. I want to get silly. I got no social life in this house. So, and I like people. I'm a social guy. So, well, you got. I am. I'm gonna wrap this up, and we'll do this tomorrow for sure. We'll do this every day. You know, now that I know what to do and how to do it. Because I assume if Google sees it, my team sees it. I mean, that's really all that matters to me. But you know, I'll share this stuff on Facebook. I'll share it wherever I can, you know, and Twitter and LinkedIn. You know, it's see how old I am. I got a bunch of liver spots. You know, my liver. Oh my God, I was toxic. And I got a sunspot here. You know, that needs to be cosmetically removed. I don't have the money. I got no teeth. You know, and I can't afford them. You know, I thought they were $500. They wanted 900 here, and that's for a low-end set of dentures. I ever get any money, I'm doing implants for 15 grand or whatever it is in Costa Rica. I'm going to have the titanium implants. You know, where, you know, the teeth are permanent. You don't have to mess with them anymore. But given supplements and given the means to apply alternative medicine to myself, I'm 61 years old. I can, you know, I've got peripheral artery disease a little bit. I'm plugged up a little bit. I can take all that out. I can turn the hands of time back and feel like I'm, you know, my hope is to, even with these scarred lungs, is to run a marathon before I die. You know, is to get that healthy. You know? And even if I can't do that, I can get extraordinarily healthy if I ever had, you know, access to means. You know, if I ever started making 50, 60, 70, $80,000 a year, you know, where I could spend some money on myself. You know, I wouldn't hesitate to spend 20 grand a year on my health, 25, 30,000. So, and the first 25, 30,000 would do wonders. But even 3, 4, 5,000 would do wonders. You know, just in 60 days. It's amazing what you can do if you have them now. So, well, anyway, I hope you like. You know, I didn't do this on my best chemistry. You know, it was a long day and I'm tired. And you know, I wish this had happened at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But you can tell that I'm certainly not psychiatric. I don't appear delusional, even though I'm making some extraordinary statements. About multiple hit. Really, it was 11 or 12 episodes with the mafia, and roughly it was 35. And then this last time, God knows, I'm 40, 45, 50. They tried to kill me a lot. The odds of me surviving that. I mean, if there's any genius that I have, the genius was in anticipating and in circumventing and successfully surviving. If the mafia ever told their end of this story, coming after me, and I really want to be best friends with you guys. And, the mafia, I should put a little tail end in here. I mean, we belong together. Just like I belong with Silicon Valley, I belong with you guys. I belong, the freelance consultant that puts you guys both together, the parties both together, and get you to work well with each other, and smooths out any bumps in the road as they come along or as they may come along, and make sure the mafia gets paid and paid, as agreed and on time, and we got a sales job with the American public. But I'll tell you, you talk to the American public and say, the mafia's going to work with Silicon Valley, take out the government, and we're going to straighten things out. And nobody really understands the mafia represents power and Silicon Valley represents brains. And let's just put power and brains together. It's common sense. It's just common sense. It's practical, and it's forget about ideal. You're never going to achieve ideal. You can't cut the mafia out of the deal. Educate them. I mean, they're going to turn into heroes in this world. Go from force now, powerful force that wasn't doing good things to a powerful force that's doing the things that have to happen, and for the good guys. It's the only answer. There is no other answer. So, in my mind, and I think you'll learn that too. Go ahead and try to like Kennedy or whatever. Whether it was him or there were multiple parties involved in that. Who knows? I know the mafia is likely one of them, but God knows who else was. The military-industrial complex. It's not the mafia. They're just paid help. Who's behind them? Who paid them? That's what you gotta understand. Don't blame. It's like blaming the gun instead of the person shooting the gun. Think of the mafia as a gun. They're force. But who's paying the force to operate? They're not going to do anything. The mafia's not going to do anything unless it makes some paper, some real money. They're not. So, and my Italian heritage, and I hung around with Italians all my. I'm comfortable with you guys. I'm comfortable with my Italian countrymen. I love that movie, Goodfellas. I could watch it 10 times. And The Godfather, it's just, I didn't want to be a member of the mafia, but I wanted to. I understood their power, and now it's. I want to lead the mafia, or at least, not lead, but be a consultant to the top levels of the mafia, just like I want to be a consultant, that's listened to and respected by the CEOs of Silicon Valley. And I think that, in my dreams, it'll all come to pass. And we'll see what happens. I'm doing my best, and I don't think, I have a lot of flaws and stupidity. I know I've made some mistakes here, so, but given enough rest, given supplements the ability to be chemically correct, I don't make too many mistakes, and I work like a dog. I got a work ethic that I'm obligated by God to, give this world and America my best at all times. And you'll see that from me from here on out. Thank you for listening. And I don't know. I love you all. I love every living thing on this planet. I don't know. Whatever God you believe in, and I don't see God like a guy walking around in heaven. I don't understand God. It's still a puzzle to me. But my conscience is part of God. That's how I understand things. And nature is a part of God, and we all have a little piece of God in us. I guess. So, amen. See you tomorrow.